And welcome to Pontiac Power Hour, episode 36. We are live on Punisher Le Mans Garage channel. I am Buff from Buff's Garage.
And I'm Ray. I think everybody knows this. But
you never know. We might have somebody new coming in tonight.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah. So tonight we are spending the next hour discussing and remembering Pontiac. Well, not just Pontiac, but ad legend and godfather of the GTO, Mr. Jim Wangers, who passed away recently. And we just wanted to take the night to kind of go through a little bit of history about him and maybe learn something you didn't know before you came in tonight.
I know. I did research on him. There's some things I didn't know he had a hand in.
That's right. And hopefully we're going to learn all that tonight. So jumping over to the chat, we've got Auto Salvage Outlaws with the first comment of the night. Welcome, ASO. Let's see. We've got Danny Boyd, 38 POS Racing. Oh, Hunter, Sand Mountain Ballistics is here. Keep scrolling. They're all talking to each other. Pure Pontiac Garage. I really expected to see him here, and there he is. NSB Custom Cars. I hope the weather is good down south because it is pouring rain here in the Midwest. And Dakota's Timeout made it in. The GTO Speed Channel. Welcome to the show. Jason's Garage made it. Fox Can Fix It is here. All the way from Canada, we've got Mongrel's Garage. And, there's one I haven't seen in a little while. Flat Tires and Misfires. Want to see a Power Stroke 63 Pontiac? That's your man. Go to his channel, check him out, give him a sub. All right, we'll try to catch everybody else as they kind of roll in. But, I don't know. Let's catch everybody up on what's going on this week before we jump into the show. So what have you been up to, Ray?
Well, I've been trying to put my small block together. Waiting on parts. Waiting on parts for both my engines I'm putting together, actually. It's getting kind of old.
Well, the 38 POS Racing, you can have all the rain you want. I have to tell you that I got enough rain in about 30 minutes to completely flood the roads. I had to pull over and, really slow down for a little bit. It was just way too much.
Yeah, you can definitely have it here too. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. We got Lars in the chat. JB's little shop working on the Blazer. Hopefully they get that thing running and the transmission sorted out. Andrew Nelson is here. And they just keep coming in. So we'll keep checking back with them as they roll in. So I'm working on a couple things. The Flipper Impala finally got its appraisal, and it is totaled. I kind of figured it would be. And so we're going to roll that back into the other projects, including Brian Vantana. And, of course, we want to get the Avalanche and the Suburban fixed and back on the road and hopefully out of my driveway because I got more stuff coming. We still got the red GTP we got to get titled, and I want the 63 on the road. And they just keep coming in. I got a 61 Ford the other day. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't know. We'll see what else pops up. Let's see. Who else just jumped in? I thought I saw somebody. Oh, Don, One-Eyed Cat.
Hello, sir. So I got a new project coming too. It's probably something nobody will expect, a little 4-cylinder car. So I guess you'll see it when you see it, people.
Yeah, we can always definitely play with pretty much anything with an engine. I'm not saying I wouldn't, take an electric out for a drive, but I'm not going to own one or really want to turn a wrench on one.
So I'm in a yellow phase right now. We had the yellow Triumph, the yellow and black S10, and this new car's yellow also. So I would like to
get you a big H2 that's yellow, and you'd be all set.
I'd have to do the whole what was that, Zombieland with because he puts the number 3 on the side of it.
Oh, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it may have slipped out the other day that you got yourself a 389 for $2. Is that right?
No, that wasn't me. That was Jeffro.
Oh, that was Jeff. That's right. I was in the same loop there. Yeah, so 389 for $2. How does that work?
He was at an estate sale, or his buddy was at an estate sale for him, and he missed out on a 421 for $1. So
yep.
I'm just saying, I am never at those kind of sales. The sales I go to, everybody's bidding on what I want.
Yeah, of course. Either they didn't know what it was or nobody really needed it. Because my assumption is, let's hope it turns over and maybe he can make it run. And shoot, he's more than doubled his money there. I'll give him $4 for it.
That's what I told him. I said, you want your money back? I'll even drive to Illinois to get it.
I paid double, even triple your money. It was $6 for that engine. All right, so as everybody rolls in, we'll try to hit the chat and see what you guys have to say. Let's see. Let's jump into this week's topic.
Ari's here. I have not heard anything out of Ari in a while. I was kind of hoping he was still around.
He is still around. He's just hiding out. He finally made it in, but with the time zone switch, he doesn't always get to jump in here.
He hasn't been doing his live though.
Oh, he hasn't done the Sundays. I thought I saw him come up a while back, and I jumped in for a minute, and then I ended up getting busy. So, all right, welcome, Ari.
Mongrel says he's working on his son's '67 Pontiac and listening to the show.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I probably look better, just listening.
All right. Well, this week, if you didn't know, A Cove.
Welcome.
Yep. If you didn't know, Jim Wangers, who was a huge ad exec and later a huge influence on the car culture in the 60s and 70s, he did pass away this last week, and just wanted to take a minute to offer up the tribute, because if you didn't know, he's not the guy that came up with the GTO, but he's the guy that basically made it famous. And his advertising prowess had no limits. He'd pretty much take any car, whether it was an amazing car like the GTO or kind of a lemon, like later in life he took a Mustang and turned it into something special. And he could pretty much work magic with anything. So we'll take a minute and just talk about Jim Wangers. Now, with every show, you guys jump in the chat and tell us information that you have that we may not have up on your screen, and maybe we'll learn something.
So the one thing I learned about Jim was that he also was kind of the father of the Tri-Pod Chevys.
That's where he started out.
I didn't know that. I always just associated him with Pontiac.
Right. Well, he kind of dabbled in all different things. He started out in the 50s with, kind of pushing the Chevrolets. He really wanted to see Chevrolet take a different stance, specifically, pushing the racing, I guess, genre and really pushing that culture at a time when, Chevy wasn't really that interested. Nobody was. There was a little bit, but he kind of considered it more of a hobby. And then when he got into the advertising world, he was like, nope, we're going full bore. So he ended up joining Campbell Ewald as a copywriter right in the same time General Motors was planning its 1955 campaign, and he jumped in and convinced his supervisors that NASCAR Speed Week would be the best opportunity to get positive press, because Chevrolet had this new 180 horse power pack, and it just, nobody cared. That's basically how that went. Just nobody seemed to care at all. And his boss basically told him, Chevrolet's not into racing. They want nothing to do with it. But he went to Daytona on his own dime, and he went in and documented all of the success of those independent Chevy racers, the guys out there running the cars that Chevrolet didn't really back and they didn't really want anything to do with. And basically, his report did not garner that much attention, and he was pretty disappointed about it. But then the media spread about Daytona, and then people started kind of looking to the dealerships to fill the void with everything that Wangers came up with. And the dealerships were just like, we don't have the stuff to fill the orders. Like, we don't have these cars that people want. And basically by February, Chevrolet got nicknamed the hot one. They called that thing, they basically said this car is what everybody wants. Now, nobody had them to sell them. So there was a lot of scrambling to get the ones that Jim Wangers had wrote about. And so that was his kind of first foray into jumping into the car scene, specifically with the Chevrolets.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Half-Wit Labs. See, I already got them chiming in here. Let me see what I got. Show them the video. Well, this isn't Jim Wangers related, but it seems sketchy enough that maybe, here, let me put myself on here. This seems like a good idea. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that works. That's taillights.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I assume that's which one he wanted me to share. Yep, that's all he sent me, so it's got to be. Anyway, back to where I was. Oh, Copperhead Customs came in. Welcome, all the way from down under. And of course, Half-Wit Labs. And I don't see anybody else coming in. All right. So back to Jim. Now, we all know him, at least most of us know him from his time at Pontiac. And so when Jim kind of stepped up with the Chevrolet stuff, GM started doubling down on their racing ban in '63. And all of that time Pontiac had invested in racing was just basically wasted because the racing ban had happened and nobody was doing it. So Jim writes, the truth was we were taking Pontiac performance off the racetrack like the corporation wanted and putting it on the street like the corporation didn't want. And so no matter, what anybody really wanted, they created a car. And of course, the chief engineer being John DeLorean, they created the car that we now affectionately know as the GTO. I mean, if they're going to basically stop racing, oh, there's that old Chevrolet. If they're going to basically stop racing, professionally and on the tracks, then they're going to take it to the streets. Yes, Half-Wit. Yeah. I'm having a hard enough time concentrating because the mountain of information on Wangers is huge. All right. So back to it. Go ahead.
So everybody knows that story. I'm probably jumping ahead and you already have that, where the article about the GTO versus the Ferrari GTO.
Oh, go ahead and bring it up.
So Jim did an article. It ended up on the cover of the magazine. The Pontiac GTO versus the Ferrari GTO, where the Pontiac GTO embarrassed it, but we all know that it had a really hot 421 in it, not the little 389 that, he said it had, but it worked. And GTOs was just booming popular.
Yep. It may or may not have upset a few people.
I mean,
he got her on Car and Driver magazine. Basically, this factory Pontiac beating out the Ferrari, GTO versus GTO. And as far as the advertisement went, this was all legit. This was fair and square. And we know now that Jim's like, nope, that's not how the game was played. We rigged that for sure. But it's a legend, and it just boosted the GTO sales through the roof.
Right, and well, in my opinion, the 64 GTO was, one of the best looking GTOs ever made, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
And it's also, I believe, the first muscle car.
Yep.
Only because it's one of my favorite cars, because deep down I know that it actually probably wasn't the first muscle car, but,
We all kind of adopt that is, in fact, the first muscle car, even though there's a lot of arguments to say, this one was clear back in these days, or maybe this one was later. And it is what it is. We love it for what it is. They took a big engine, put it in a, smaller bodied car, and made history. So there are some documentaries out there. You just have to do a little bit of research, because the beauty of the internet is Wangers has been interviewed multiple times by lots of different people. And all of those have been documented either in writing, in video, or even in his own book. He has a book that was, written, published by someone else, but he provided all the facts for it. So there's a lot of places to get the history. I mean, if somebody wants to take those videos and make 60-second shorts, I'm sure they would blow up. All right, LNA Auto Works, hello. Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage. And I want to just add that after our show, Jay comes on live with Cars and Cussin' at about 9:10, 9:15. So jump over there and visit him tonight and see what he's been up to.
You might learn something.
I mean, we're trying to right now. I don't know if it's working.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
All right. Now, here's the fun part. How many people knew that Wangers had his hand in AMC as well?
I knew that.
So
only because I read it today.
Yeah. So when you look back at some of the stuff that we know about, and there's probably thousands of things that he took part in that we'll never know about, but the stuff we do know about, because it's in writing, well documented, is he worked with Hearst Dave Landreth and went to AMC with the idea of bringing the 64 GTO concept up to 69 standards. But since that didn't translate as well, they jumped over to the 1969 SC Rambler. And then Wangers jumped over to AMC and followed that up in the 1970s with the Rebel machine. And I'm not sure if I have that photo of the Rebel machine. Nope, that's the CanAm. But I do have photos of it somewhere. Is that one it? It's hard to see.
That may be a Rebel machine.
That's Rebel. Yep, I see it on the... See, our screens are little, so if you guys are watching it on a big screen or even on your phone, you might get better resolution. But
so, I don't know. I'd say, honestly, that Pontiac is my first love, but AMC's second. I love AMCs just because they're different. And yeah, I had a Hearst Rambler SC, the Scrambler, basically the same size as the Nova. Should have kept it.
Yep, for sure. I think that's the thing is at the time, AMC had not, like for me anyway, in the 80s and 90s, AMC wasn't something that people were flocking to. We all went to Chevelles and Novas and, of course, Camaros if we could afford them. Nobody really looked at AMC, which was kind of the unsung hero. And now, as Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage knows, people love the AMC and they want it, and it's different and it's valuable. So it's kind of cool to know, Jim had a hand in some of the coolest parts of AMC back in the day.
I think I gave like $2,000 for that Hearst Rambler SC. Had the red and blue. Well, the car's white. Had one red stripe, one blue stripe. The seats was the same way. It was either a 360 or 390 AMC 4-speed car.
Nice.
Yeah, the car's worth quite a bit of money today, but like I'm sure we all have that. I should have kept that car.
Always. I mean, let's be honest. It's one of those where you look back and you go, "Oh man, I wish."
Yeah, I had a black '78 Trans Am SE car, black and gold. One thing it didn't have was T-tops, and
you said the 78.
78, yeah.
Yep. So, what year did they start throwing the smog stuff on? Was that 8 or 9?
Oh, they actually started throwing the smog stuff in 72 or 73.
I was reading a quote from Wangers that he kind of helped out with that era, and one of the things he said was that's one of the cars he didn't want because they took a beautiful car and choked it down to the point that it was almost useless. And he goes, with all of the additions to the car, including the catalytic converter, they had to literally mount the passenger seat at an angle because of the way the catalytic converter ran under the car. And it's those little details that come back, and it's like, wow, I never even knew that.
The floor pan for the 70 to 74 is different than the 75 to 77 or to 81 because it's got a weird hump in it.
Yep. Got to make room for that converter that we're just going to cut out and not use.
They made it hard to put dual exhaust on them too.
Yeah. Boom tubes work. All right. So we know that he worked on the 69 Scrambler and the 70 Rebel machine. But did you know that in 1970, he also kind of took his magic wand over to Chrysler to work on the 300H?
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then he came back to Mopar in 76 to talk about the Velar Roadrunner and Aspen RT.
See, those are kind of cool cars. I kind of like them. They're not real popular, but
heck, he even jumped in on the 81 Charger 2.2. So he really never just kind of stopped. He always wanted to have his hand in a little bit of everything.
So I wonder if he ever crossed paths with Carroll Shelby.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure.
He would have.
There's one thing people don't know is that he was himself a racer. Oh, look at that. This is some of the advertising that he helped put together for Pontiac. This, of course, a little later in the era, but that's the beauty of having his hands in so many different car companies is he was able to bounce back and forth. And the Oldsmobile Rally 350. It's pretty sharp. There's the Rebel machine. I dig that car. That's gorgeous.
They are cool.
Oh, that's something special we're going to talk about later. This is his book, The Glory Days. So if you guys just check that out, that's his memoirs. It was written by another gentleman and put out, but it is his memoirs directly from Jim Wangers and his glory days. There's the Aspen RT. That's some advertising he worked on for that.
That's cool.
How about that AMX?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are cool.
I heard somebody mention T-tops earlier. There you go.
I do love T-tops, man.
The funny thing about Wangers is he said Pontiac T-tops come in two different types, the ones that leak and the ones that are about to leak.
That's not wrong at all.
Like it's not that he didn't like them. Obviously, they're cool, but he knew that they were all going to leak. And if they didn't already, they will. So you just have to realize that, all right, I'm going to have a T-top car. It's going to leak.
I'll tell
Maybe
you what.
park it in the garage.
Have you ever had a T-top car or ridden in one?
Oh, yeah.
So, they squeak. Is your Trans Am T-top?
Mine, no.
Yeah, so they rattle, they squeak. They kind of suck when they're in. But, man, there's just something about hauling ass down the highway with T-tops out.
Don't get me wrong. I have no hesitation in cutting the roof off of my Trans Am. But it won't be reattachable at the end of it. It'll just be full time. Let's see. Yeah, Danny Boyd's right. It's the ones that leak and the ones that have never been wet. I mean, if they never leave the shop, they can't leak. Just don't wash it.
That was the first mistake I ever made with my 79 Trans Am. Was I went through an automatic car wash.
You'll find out real quick.
It was basically like being in the shower.
Yeah. Trying to think of the last vehicle I was in. Cream Puff didn't do too bad, but I hand washed him with the power sprayer. He had a few little drips. The van, Brian Vantana, you'll find out in the next episode. It has a leak or two in it. It'll be fine. Just put some silicone on it. It will be fine. All right. So one of the things that I talked about earlier was, Jim Wangers was a racing enthusiast to the point that he would actually get behind the wheel of a car. And this is Jim in a restored, so this is a little later in life, but a restored 62 Pontiac Super Duty and a 421 car. So he did love to drive these cars on the track. And he did legit drive them back in the day, too. A nice tribute to Jim right there when he was in his youth and heyday. Oh, yeah. Danny Boyd liked that. We'll go back to it.
What's Irish talking about? What car do you own now, Irish?
Own one now. Haven't even put floors in it. I'm guessing pretty much all of them. I mean, if you go back to Irish Outlaw Garage, watch the ambulance video when he takes the rain coming in through the roof and he creates a solution to keep it from, building up water on the inside. And the quickest way to do that is drill a hole in the floor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's talking about his GT350 Fox body.
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful car.
Especially
now that he cleaned it up, he's got all that residue off of it. 6%. Heck yeah, Danny Boyd. Good eye.
6% recycled made it in.
Welcome, 6%. I think I'm going to do a short here, soon, whenever I got time to actually do it right. But 6% Recycled sent me these awesome vintage, like their late 80s, early 90s drawings and posters from Pontiac, concept cars. One of them is a drawing, hand-drawn and signed by the artist. And then, of course, posters to go with it. Just really cool stuff. And I can't thank him enough. It's, it's great to be on YouTube. You got cool people out there sending you cool stuff. Arrowhead Garage popping in.
Welcome.
All right. Now, did you guys know that Jim Wangers put his 2 cents in when Ford was struggling? Late 70s, Ford was kind of in a crunch, and they redesigned the Mustang into this, little bitty thing, and going from, it was kind of designed as a secretary's car, then became more of a pony car, and they kind of redesigned it back to a secretary's car with throttled down engines and all the smog stuff included, and basically turned it into a turd. And so Jim shows up and he goes, I mean, you've got this pile here. What are you going to do with it? And Ford's like, we got nothing. So he then says, well, let me show you what I got. Let me skip ahead. Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it. There it is. He worked hard with a small team and took that otherwise, I don't want to say ugly because we kind of like them now, but an unpopular car and turned it into something cool.
As cool as it could be. I mean,
yeah, for what it is. And the Cobra 2 was born. Got the chin spoiler, racing stripes, V8 engine. And turned out really good. All right. Getting a few we haven't seen in a while. Okay. Awesome. Now, fast forwarding again. This was Jim back in the heyday on the left, standing next to the judge. This was Jim later in life accepting an award. And I think I have a video of that. He is in the Pontiac Hall of Fame. Let's see if I can pop that up real quick.
I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. It is really an honor for you folks to think of me as part of what would make up the Pontiac Hall of Fame. I am very, very humbled, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your thinking of me.
All right, that was Jim being inducted into what we call the Pontiac Hall of Fame. I'm trying to think of what the actual name is. It is the Pontiac Preservation Association Hall of Fame. And just an amazing man. All of his contributions are, I mean, if you really knew everything he had his hand in, I mean, I'm already astonished. Like, let's go back to one that I skipped that I wished I hadn't. And there. Everybody remember that thing?
They're rare.
They are rare. And if you wait until trivia, you'll find out how rare.
It's not my cup of tea. I'll just say that.
But they are cool. You got to think of what you were working with at the time.
Right. I would take one. Don't get me wrong. I would take one. They're just, they're just not my cup of tea.
Oh, Hunter is just all over. What is he going on about? Oh, he's just talking about all the cars. All right. Cove was in his 20s when he got to ride in a Can-Am. That's 6%. You kind of missed it, but that's okay. I have the ability to go the other way. There we go. Well, we've got that. We got that. We like some AMCs in there.
The Pontiac AMC. I think Irish has one of those.
He does. Just got to go to No Name Nationals to see the Pontiac AMC. Wish they would report the spoiler from CanAm. Oh, repop. Yes.
Yeah, I was just say.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where he was going. I'm sure somebody could. I mean, but you got to get all the dimensions. Yeah, Danny Boyd, we'll talk about it. I don't want to spoil it too much. I put it in there kind of as a teaser, and we're going to hit that Monte Carlo in a bit. It's not very Pontiac-y, but it is very much Jim Wangers.
I say we're just working on Jim Wangers right now.
All right, flat tires and misfires. Who's going to Pontiac Nationals in Ohio this year? I can absolutely say I'm not.
I would love to, but probably won't this year. I might try to make it next year.
If Motor Trend comes knocking tomorrow and all of a sudden I'm popular, if they want to foot the bill. But until then, no, I'm probably not going to make it. I'd love to, though. I would absolutely love to.
I got so much going on right now. The problem is I don't have the time or the funds for half of it, but
yep, I get that too.
Like, I would love to go on Power Tour, but I figured that out today, and geez, whew.
That's the one that is just, to me, that's the one event I could do this year if I did it. And I know I want to try to hit No Name. I know I want to hit Duct Tape Drags, and those are basically the same month. So all of my pennies are getting saved because that's the only way I'm going to do it. And I mean, that's sleeping in the van. That's, riding in a convoy in case something breaks. It's the idea of just getting to go. So we're gonna try to pull that off. I like the idea of the Grand Ham. We'd love to see more of that 6%.
Arrowhead Duct Tapes in Tucson, Arizona.
Yep, that is. Yep, and it's a week after No Name Nationals. There you go. Bring you a tent. There's plenty of room. All right, Fox, I don't know if you're being serious or not, but I believe it. He truly had his hand in everything. English sausage company called Wangers Bangers. That just seems like it could be true. Arrowhead says 2 hours from me. All right, so I guess we'll see you there. I mean, I know that Dalton from Pole Barn Garage is going. I know that Kevin from Junkyard Digs is going because they're in my convoy. And I don't know who else is going, but I know there's going to be a bunch. I mean, of course, all the Motor Trend crew is going to be there. David Freiberger, Mike Finnegan, Dulcich, probably Cotton. Who is it? Newburn. Gosh, I think Alex Taylor, who just literally blew the doors off of her car going down the track. I'm sure she'll be there.
Wasn't that wild, man? I just seen that video. Like, the windshield came
rear
in the
window
car.
And both doors blew off. Now that, when you talk about a car blowing the doors off, that's impressive.
205 miles an hour, I think. The front windshield actually came in the car, came apart, and went out the back window and through the carbon fiber wheel tubs.
Yep.
And she walked away.
And the car drove off. Like, it's crazy.
When you blow your own doors off, I mean, that's something.
When you always hear people say, I'm gonna blow the doors off. She legit did. Anyone at all that says Alex Taylor's, sorry, I'm stuttering. It's so exciting. Anyone that says she is not legit racer, she literally blew the doors off her car. So I don't want to hear more hate for Alex Taylor. Yes, her dad, did a lot of the building, but she jumped in as well, and she knows what she's doing. You can't blame her for using the tools she has provided. I've been watching her since she was much younger. So
yeah, me too.
She knows what she's talking about.
I don't care if her dad built the car. She still drives.
I look at that no different than, hey, Ray, help me build a turbo. And Ray helps me build a turbo. Or, I'm going to go out to square body stuff because he knows square bodies and he's going to help me build a square body. Or I'm going to go to Dalton and he's going to help me tractor paint the van. I think you're using the tools available to you. That's what she's done, and it's catapulted her up to hot rod status. So good for her. She legit blew the doors off. That's crazy.
212 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just think that's pretty incredible. So I wanted to end that whole thing with just Jim Wangers. We appreciate everything that you brought to the world, especially our Pontiac people. He passed away in his sleep April 27, 2023. He had been suffering from Alzheimer's and kind of stepped out of the spotlight for a while. But, you know, what a life. Like, this is a very long life well lived. And we thank you for all your contributions. All right. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I brought up Alex not to derail the conversation, but man, blowing the doors off. That is crazy. All right. So you guys have kind of interjected your own cool information about Jim and some of his contributions. Did you guys know that he later in life built his own 69 Pontiac Judge the way he wanted to do it? I mean, it had no key locks. It had no drip rails. He shaved all that off. It had a chin spoiler. I'm thinking that thing, I know it had a performance engine put into it because of course it did. Let's see. It has 680 horsepower, a Butler Performance cast iron overhead valve V8, Edelbrock Pontiac head, CNC ported by Butler, 505 cubic inch displacement. Yep, 680 horse, 664 foot-pounds torque. This thing was just sick. He ran an MSD Pro Billet distributor on the ignition system with a blaster coil, and he ran, let's see, 3-inch collectors and mufflers, custom bent 3-inch exhaust. Tremec TR 6060 6-speed trans with double overdrive. And let's not forget, he did it his way with 19 by 10-inch wheels on the front and 20 by 12s on the back. And people that hate on the big wheels on these old cars, I just want to say, if Jim Wangers does it, then it's okay.
For the people who don't like big wheels and like factory wheels and tires, come hang with me in the turns in my car. I bet you can't.
I mean, here's the deal. So, yes, we saw when we went to World of Wheels, we saw some ridiculous 22s, 24s, 26s. It's not my cup of tea. However, if you can put like a reasonable 17 or 18 or 19 on a car, put some decent tire on it so you're not feeling every bump, if you can make it look good under the car and make it perform and function, I don't see an issue with it. And the thing is, you always got the originals back in the garage. Nobody ever gets rid of those.
Well, my car didn't have the originals, so.
Yeah, mine did, but my steel rims that were bent, that couldn't even balance, they were not going to go back on my car. Plus, when I changed the brakes, 14s wouldn't fit back on my car. Yes, Arrowhead, 3,000 and under, but here's the caveat. It doesn't just have to be 3,000 and under. It has to be 3,000 and under as, I guess, decided by Freiberger and is it Dulcich?
Yeah.
I think those two. And then, of course, the crowd gets to decide if it legit gets to go. Like, to me, I'm guessing what's in the Holy Goat. But yet I absolutely think the Holy Goat should be fine rolling down the street. I think it should absolutely be able to get in. I'm telling you, I can bring receipts on the van. And I might think it's too nice to even get in. But I'll try to, justify it. Maybe I won't paint it before, but I kind of feel like it needs to be painted. Everybody watch the build. Maybe we'll get it tractor painted before August and September. And you tell me if it's worth $3,000 or not. Let's see. Yeah, 67 Porsche 911. Probably not even if it was completely stock. I'm thinking that one's a bit above $3,000. Now, if it's well documented that that's all you got into it, you take a lot to pull that off. Do some patina paint. Nobody will ever know.
So you've got my attention, Arrowhead.
Arrowhead's got some fast stuff, it looks like.
I love the 911 Porsche. That's like my favorite Porsche of all times. And it doesn't really even matter the year.
All right, flat tires or misfires. Doesn't matter if it qualifies for the 3K, just take it. Just if you have the ability or the desire to go and all you've got something that you don't think will slip in, bring it. Worst they can tell you is no, but at the same time, you had an adventure. You got to hang out with cool people. I mean, it's just a good time. He's a Porsche guy with a Pontiac. I like it.
I had a Porsche also, Arrowhead. Well, I got it from my son. It was the high-end car, the 944.
I would definitely be interested in seeing a few Porsches. It's one I always wanted as a teenager and never got. And then by the time I got to be an adult, I decided I didn't want the maintenance. Someday I'll learn it because I really think that would be a fun car. All right, Blake from Bad Tree showing up. Shop Cat in the chat.
That Fiero guy showed up.
Little late, but he's in here. We're just talking Pontiacs, man. Okay, so with that, we need to jump over to trivia because we're getting close to running out of time, and I bet more people have more trivia than I've got. And we want you guys to share it all in the chat. All right, we're back with Pontiac Trivia, sponsored by Super Clean. We always thank them for their generosity. I will warn everybody, I have had some trouble. I keep getting my old contact from last year emailing me, not the one that I was emailing all of your names to. And so I haven't confirmed whether or not they've gotten them out, but I have confirmed you all haven't been receiving them. So I'm going to keep everyone in the loop. You might get 2, but I hope you get 2 rather than none. They're always juggling people that are answering the emails, but I'm back to the one who started with me last year. All right. Now, as we do every week with the Pontiac Trivia, we're going to put up a question and some answers. I'm going to read through them, and you guys throw your answer or your best guess in the chat. And again, you got some trivia that I've left out, throw it in the chat. I'd love to learn it. All right. Now, Ray, you have brushed up on all your Jim Wangers history. So in 1959, Jim Wangers had a hand in bringing NHRA to a town to host the Nationals, consequently creating what drag strip?
I just read this.
Is it A, the Rhode Island drag strip, B, the Lions drag strip, C, Baylands Raceway Park, or D, Detroit Dragway?
I think it's Detroit.
It is not Carousel Red. By the way, Hammer Wrench Renovations, I see you in here. I just got your mail today. Thank you for the sticker and the shout out. I appreciate it. He's got a really cool logo sticker that he sent to me. And I will be honest, I'm traveling a lot, but you just keep hammering me and I will get you a sticker back. See how I did that? All right. So Danny Boyd says Detroit. 38 says Lions. And with that, we got a whole lot of Lions. Bad Tree says G-Body. Doing the G-Body shuffle. Speaking of G-Bodies, you guys see Mike Honcho take a rip in his video? It's pretty nice. He's not so poppy anymore.
Okay. Who can ban Hunter for a little while?
Oh, yeah. We can put him on snooze. Dakota's timeout. You need to timeout Hunter. All right. That Fiero guy says D. Colleen says Lions. And most are saying D. I mean, that Fierro guy, you would think, but you know, Jim Wangers got around. He was kind of had his hands in everything. All right, who else do we got here? Detroit isn't exactly near Detroit. I mean, you never know. But the answer is Detroit. So he helped with the creation of the Detroit Dragway by basically talking NHRA to just show up. And when he got there, there was like, well, we need a place to race. So by 1959, he did that. By 1960, that's Jim Wangers piloting the Royal Pontiac right there in front of you. 1960 down the Detroit Dragway. So he wasn't just a coordinator. He wasn't just an ad man. He was a race car driver.
Okay.
And
so
I think it says Hot Chief #1 in the back.
I was trying to be funny and put Hunter in timeout, but I can't undo it now.
Oh, no, you can't. He's timed out.
I apologize, Hunter.
But he'll be back in, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back. Hey, you know, got to play the game. You got to take your chances there. Now, if he has 10 accounts like Dakota's timeout, he'll be back. But I think he's just got the one. All right. Next question, guys. Jim Wangers developed the 1977 Pontiac CanAm that Ray kind of likes, but not really. But how many were made? Was it A, 500, B, 1,100, C, 2,870, or D, 4,400? Danny Boyd quick with C, 2,870.
That was gonna be my guess. I know it's a low number.
All right, Danny Boyd quick with a shout out. Let me find. I've got the article on that. No, that's Alex Taylor blowing her doors off, which was pretty cool. Somewhere I've got. So 1965, this was actually a car that Jim Wangers owned. It was a 1965 Royal Bobcat GTO. It was documented as coming to Royal Pontiac, being given the Bobcat conversion package. Wide ratio, 4-speed, 355 cog, 389 tri-power Bobcat. It would turn a mid 14-second car into a high 13-second one. Ram air bathtub, carb rejetting, progressive throttle linkage, and recurved ignition. That Bobcat conversion package cost $125. So I can't imagine what that costs today.
I'd say that would have been the best $129 you could spend.
Let's see. 6% says $1 without going over. Nope, sorry. Oh, Danny Boyd with the broke the mold for the spoiler. Well, wish they would make more. I'm sure somebody can come up with an idea. Blake says snowmobiles. Nope, that's not it. But, you know, in Alaska, they call them snow machines. But the answer is 1,100. Now, I don't know if Danny Boyd's right, but he's right a lot. That could have been the reason why they said, we're done.
In 1971 or 2, you could get the Ducktail Spoiler or the Ducktail Spoiler on the GTO and Le Mans, but same thing. The mold wouldn't work right, so they quit doing it.
Gotcha.
So it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, Iris says, yep. Sounds like we've got more factual trivia. ASO says he's on a roll. All right. Now, Jim Wangers created a special Monte Carlo, and you guys got to see just a hint of it in that photo. Now, this was back when Jim had his own dealership. If you guys didn't know, Jim actually kind of left the world of advertising and bought a dealership, and it was, of all things, a Chevrolet dealership. But, of course, he couldn't leave well enough alone. For the 1972 and 71 and 72 model year, his dealership built the Milwaukee Classic, which is that car you guys saw earlier. Now, there's only one place you could get them, and they only made so many over those 2 years. So how many did they make? Was it A, 103, B, 250, C, 760, or D, 1,273? And I want to go back to this Can-Am real quick. There was only 1,100 made, but do you know there's more than 1,100 running around right now?
Oh, I'm not surprised.
So if you're looking for a Can-Am or you find one in the wild, do your research, check the numbers, do a proper evaluation or pay somebody to do it. Because what you don't want to do is get one of the 1,101s that don't exist. So you get the one of the originals. Hammer wrench. It is not like old Milwaukee, but it ironically was a dealership out of Detroit that wasn't actually in Detroit. It was in Milwaukee. That's the funny thing. I think it was said earlier, Detroit is not actually near Detroit. So Hunter knows where 3. Are they real? And if they are, how do you know and they're not out and about already? If it did, it was the old cool pull tab style beer. All right, so the correct answer on this, now granted, you got to remember, it only came out of one dealership. And I got a lot of, let's see, well, there's an S, that's not an answer. There's a B, an A, an A. So these guys stick with the low numbers. Nathan's Mopar Garage is 760. Nobody went high on this one, and that was a good call. But the answer is 250 over 2 years. These were not a vinyl letter or package. These were not stripes. This was all painted on, and it was all done in-house. Wangers himself said it was a Pimp Mobile. It was the 70s, you know, they kind of did their own thing. But they made a custom radiator shell, kind of protruded that front out, gave it a whole different look. They put on a vinyl roof. Some of them had the sunroof, and of course the paint stripes. Just cool car. Their chosen colors were candy apple paint, including candy apple red, candy apple green, and candy apple tangerine. They were just too cool for the streets. Well, Hunter, this was in an article that Jim himself spoke about the fake Can-Am. So people did do them, and they were enough that Jim recognized the fakes and had spoken out about them. That was just in one of the articles I read. So they do exist. They're probably less and less, but at one point in time, people were making fakes.
There's a picture, and I think it's Jim actually standing in front of them, and they're all lined up, or not all of them, or there's a bunch of them lined up on, maybe it's the Indianapolis track.
Oh, look at that. Colleen caught me. Thank you, Colleen. My editing fell short. It was B, not A. So where's the corner? There it is, right over here. So that should say B, 250. Either way, the answer is 250. It's not rigged. Because we only care about what the real number is, but it is 250. I know that. All right, moving on. Somebody actually already gave this answer away, so let's see if you guys were paying attention to the chat. So Jim Wangers brought forward a winner in 1976 with the Cobra 2. You guys got to see it. It's a pretty cool car. What TV show featured it? Was it What's Happening, The Love Boat, Charlie's Angels, or Wonder Woman? Oh, right off. Everybody, Charlie's Angels. Now, do you guys know why Charlie's Angels? If that's your answer, why?
Hey, Buff, you know what would make the Cobra 2 cooler?
What?
If you LS swapped it.
Oh, them's fighting words. People will be coming out of the woodwork on that one. It probably was Gilligan's Island, but you couldn't see it because it was underwater. A Cove has the correct answer. That is one of the reasons, one of the two, why Charlie's Angels sponsored this show, or sponsored this car in their show. And 6% had the other answer. The show was sponsored by Ford. Yep, Colleen knows. Farrah had one. And there you go. There she is. That is her car. She legit had one. Ford sponsored the show. And so, of course, they had to put it in the show. And when they did, the sales were kind of dipped. They weren't seeing a lot of, people buying them up. They didn't know what this thing was, but Farrah Fawcett had one. It was on Charlie's Angels. And so they started getting orders. And next thing you know, they had 5,000 and then 10,000 and then 15,000. And they just kept going from there. Danny Boyd knows. He probably watched it before the reruns. The other Angels drove the Mustang 2 Coupe and the other drove a Pinto. But old Farrah, she's got herself a Cobra too. And now we're getting into political debates about LS swaps. All right. We're going to just move on like that didn't happen.
Hey, you know what that does? Makes the comments go up.
It does. we do like extra comments. Make sure not only are you putting it in the chat, but go back later and put a comment down below the video. Make sure to like it. Make sure to share it out. We're both trying to build our subs. We're both trying to build our presence on YouTube and get more watch hours. And the only way to do that is to spread this out. We have a regular following that comes back every single week to watch the show, and we appreciate you all. But we have yet to beat the Kevin Junkyard Diggs show, which is like 12,000 views or something. So we could do better. I mean, we had Farrah. I mean, really, what else do you need? So Colleen Tebow only missed one this week. Way to go, Colleen.
Blake said if you squeeze your eyes real tight, it kind of looks like a 65. I think that's the stripes, man.
Are we talking about Farrah or the car? I think she does all right. Okay. Colleen, you know what? Send me your info, buffsgarage@gmail.com. You will be added to the list of people that may or may not have gotten their super clean stuff yet, but will be on the list to get some. So let's go ahead and end the show with that. We've got Cars and Cussin' on Irish Outlaw Garage coming up in just a few minutes. We want to see everybody just kind of roll over there and hear what's going on in Jay's world. Want to thank our sponsor, Super Clean, all the folks in the chat, and of course our co-host, and always with the most, Punisher Le Mans Garage. My goodness, what a week. We got another week coming up. It feels like they just don't end.
Yeah. It's been one of them weeks, man.
But the fun thing is, when we started this last year, how many cars did you have that you were working on?
One.
Exactly. And now look at us. We got piles. We are part of the problem, but it's a good problem.
Yeah. What's the Fiero guy talking about there? My dad's plural. I'm not a buff bunny. Okay.
Nope. And we can slow that traffic down. We don't need as many of those popping in.
Just because he's got a cool van, don't mean I want to ride in it like that.
Oh no, but you can ride in the front.
Yeah. Hey man, can I get a pimp hat and a cane?
I mean, hold on before I close this show. So I put out a members only video, and I'm not going to give you all of it because that's just not fair to those that are members. But let me find it. Oh, got to keep going. Because with this, I have to go a different route to bring it up here. But I'll give you guys just a little hint of what I was working on here. But don't think that you're going to get access to all of it, because I do appreciate my members, and so I try to give them a little extra.
Don't you hate it when you're prepping for a shoot and the neighbors decide this is the day that they're gonna mow their lawn? Brian Vantana can't be getting suave and luring the ladies when there's a mower in the background. That's right, Brian Vantana is going under the knife. And you saw it here on Buff's Garage. Once these doors open, there's no turning back. You've entered Brian Vantana's world. Now this isn't your mom's van, although your mom did come visit me last week.
All right, that's all you get. We got more of that coming. That's going to be part of the next video, and I'll just put it all together and see what everybody thinks. But I appreciate all my members, because those guys got that video today. And then, of course, I put out the truck gathering video today to everybody. The members got it previously. And wow, you know, just more to come. So I did not have a cane, but I did have the hat.
Yeah, I'm blown away, man. I don't even know what to say.
He's speechless. We got him speechless. So, all right, guys, with that, we're going to end the show. Thank you all for joining us this week. We'll catch you next week on my channel for another Pontiac Power Hour.
Have a good weekend. Have a good week. Stay dry. Stay safe.